formerly was a British colony because Cameroon had been two former colonies, British and French. They came together, they voted for one country under a federation, but the federation was done away with Cameroonian president. So now the Anglophones are basically fighting for their rights, which started with very serious complaints, and unfortunately the government of Cameroon has not responded in a way that would assuage the concerns of the Cameroonians.
The U.S. Assistant Secretary of State for African Affairs, Tibor Nagy, has stirred another uproar in recent discourse. Addressing the press last Thursday in Houston, Texas, the American diplomat insisted that there is an effective civil war going on in former British Southern Cameroons. He added that after the fall of Sudanese President Omar el-Bashir, Cameroon is next on the U.S. agenda. Before his walking visit to Africa last month, Nagy reiterated that the government of Cameroon has been totally ineffective and that some of the actions taken to resolve the crisis in the two English-speaking regions of the country have worsened the situation, leading to highest recorded casualties of all times in that part of the country.
He has been in charge of Cameroon, I think, longer now than I believe any other serving African head of state. The more fundamental problem, and in my view, the more existential problem for Cameroon is what's going on in the Anglophone region. The government has been totally, in my view, ineffective in addressing that. Some of their actions have actually worsened what is going on there. There's been just a mounting cycle of violence from both sides. The radicals in the Northwest, the ones who call themselves the Ambo Boys.
It should equally be recalled that during Nagy's 3 days walking visit to Cameroon last month, the American diplomat overlooked the socio-political problems of Cameroon and rather focused on strengthening economic ties between the two countries, dashing away the hopes of many Cameroonians who believed his coming to Cameroon was to mount pressure on Biya's government to solve the Anglophone crisis as well as release Professor Maurice Kamto. Amongst all the contradictions, many Cameroonians keep wondering who Nagy is and what his motives are.
Brian a 12 ans, il est au cours moyen 2 et depuis le mois de septembre 2018, le rituel est le même, surtout les jours de classe comme c'est le cas ce lundi 15 avril où à 7h, il a tenu à respecter ses habitudes de bon écolier. Ce sera la première fois pour le 3e trimestre qui a débuté ce jour. Son petit frère Michel, après 2 semaines de congé, retrouve aussi timidement la route de l'école, contrairement à son grand frère qui n'a pas eu droit à ce moment de répit. Dans cette école qui affiche fière allure au quartier Logbesso à Douala, les enseignants ont renoué avec le traditionnel tableau noir avec pour réflexe premier rappeler la date du jour. Les encadreurs qui reconnaissent l'importance de ce dernier trimestre, considéré comme tournant critique durant l'année scolaire, essayent de briefer un bilan et l'état d'esprit afin d'appréhender le calendrier des examens. Estre.
And we make sure that in that September we recruited a good number of teachers, qualified teachers. And that's where they work along with the children. If we look at in every class, we make sure that first term, second term, we make sure that most of them, they give us the best results. That is why in most of the classes, if you see the least average in class we have is 12, which is giving us assurance and the parents equally. Because in our school, we collaborate with the parents to make sure that whatever we are doing in school, they know at home.
Si le bilan paraît précoce, l'heure est tout de même à la concentration. Le 3e trimestre étant bref et décisif, c'est une course contre la montre pour les élèves conscients d'avoir fait un mauvais démarrage en début d'année académique. Pour ceux des classes d'examen, la concentration sera plus doublée vu l'engagement qu'on a dû prendre, qui est celui de briguer la prochaine étape de son parcours scolaire. Sinon, on peut toujours continuer à dormir au premier banc.
The 2019 Limbe Festival of Arts and Culture that opened on April 6, 2019 in the town of Friendship has come to a close with a melange of Cameroon ministers congratulating the inhabitants for braving all odds. The festival that took place amid security concerns emanating from pro-secessionist fighters was able to rally about 3,000 persons during its opening ceremony. Cameroon Minister of Culture, Bidung Pat, as well as Cameroon's Minister of Secondary Education, Dr. Nalova Lyonga, saluted the efforts of the government delegate to the Limbe City Council, Andrew Mutanga Mujimba, who, alongside the efforts of his people, ensured a successful 6th edition. The Limbe Festival of Arts and Culture is a unique one who has over the years created an avenue for sons and daughters of the 10 regions of Cameroon to express their pride and sense of belonging by portraying the originality of their various cultural heritage. As it is the tradition, this year's festival featured the Miss Festa competition, traditional wrestling, canoe race, and a visit to the Bimbia slave trade village, amongst others. Let's take a rendezvous for 2020.
Le 15 avril est la journée mondiale consacrée à l'art. Au Cameroun, cette célébration est peu connue, pourtant le Cameroun est l'une des pépinières artistiques du continent. Considéré comme le pays de la guitare basse à cause de la virtuosité des artistes tels que Richard Bonnat, Étienne Mbappé ou encore Jean Dikoto Mandenge, qui a accompagné les grands de la chanson française, à l'exemple de Claude François. Ce jour devrait donc permettre à ce qu'on fasse le point sur la question de l'artiste camerounais dans son sens global. Pour ce qui est de la musique, l'épineux problème du droit d'auteur tarde à trouver une solution, d'où la clochardisation du musicien malgré son talent. Pour le cinéma, malgré son éclosion et son réveil, les salles de cinéma ont fait la repentance au point de donner leurs âmes aux églises de réveil qui y font désormais leur cinéma. Ne parlons pas du théâtre qui manque de planches pour s'exprimer. Le patrimoine musical est bafoué. Ici, on coupe et on décale avec le bikoutsi et le makossa. Bref, la musique locale perd la véritable identité au profit des autres musiques pourtant bien représentées dans leur pays. L'art contemporain, quant à lui, est relégué à la débrouillardise, les artistes malgré la floraison des galeries.
Il y a un avantage pour une artiste à exposer dans des galeries. Et dans des galeries, pourquoi? Parce qu'il y a plus de notoriété, elles sont plus visitées par les professionnels de la chose. Quoique ouvertes au public, elles sont visitées par les professionnels de la chose. Beaucoup d'opportunités sont derrière. Ça peut être un contrat qui est signé avec des galeries internationales, des galeries en Afrique ou ailleurs. Donc, il est recommandé à un artiste de valoriser son travail en exposant dans les galeries. Il peut exposer dans les galeries, vous êtes d'accord avec moi que ça demande la qualité derrière tout ça, parce que c'est les professionnels qui visitent les galeries. Pour ma part, il est important pour un artiste de côtoyer les galeries.
Le 15 avril étant la journée consacrée à l'artiste depuis 2012, sous l'initiative de l'International Association of Art, nous souhaitons bonne fête à tous les artistes, espérant qu'ils n'afficheront plus la mine triste, mais nous servirons davantage de l'art.
The Indomitable Lions of Cameroon will play alongside Ghana, Benin and Guinea-Bissau in Group F during the 2019 African Cup of Nations in Egypt. The 2019 AFCON draws, which were made public last Friday in Cairo, Egypt, involved the 24 teams in a dogfight as the so-called weaker opponents and the bigger guns will tussle to clinch the 32nd edition of the African Cup of Nations. The other draws involved Egypt, DR Congo, Uganda and Zimbabwe in Group A, Nigeria, Guinea, Madagascar and Burundi in Group B, Senegal, Algeria, Kenya and Tanzania in Group C, Morocco, Ivory Coast, South Africa and Namibia in Group D. Meanwhile, Tunisia, Mali, Mauritania and Angola will lock horns in Group E. Group D has been tipped the group of death with 3 former winners, namely Morocco, South Africa and Ivory Coast, to face each other. Meanwhile, Namibia, considered the underdog, certainly has a statement to make. The favorite teams per each group involved 7-time champions and 2019 host Egypt, Nigeria, Cameroon, Ghana, Senegal, Morocco, Tunisia and Ivory Coast. Meanwhile, Burundi, Madagascar and Mauritania will make their first appearance in an AFCON tournament.
The Confederation of African Football, through the voice of its president Ahmad Ahmad, has attributed the 2020 African Cup of Nations for home-based players to Cameroon. The decision that was made public after a CAF executive meeting, which also saw the naming of Muad Aji as CAF's General Secretary, states that CHAN 2020 was withdrawn from Ethiopia and directly attributed to Cameroon after a tacit agreement so as to permit CAF and Cameroon better prepare for AFCON 2021. The first edition of the revised 16 instead of 8 teams CHAN will be held in Cameroon in 9 months' time to better fine-tune and cover up all organizational loopholes when the big event comes calling in 2021. However, the news has been received with mixed feelings amongst Cameroonians because not only has AFCON projects been going on a very slow pace due to unpaid salaries, the country still has security concerns. And barely 9 months to go, the time for serious preparation is now, so that the second gift handed to Cameroon by CAF shouldn't be a poisoned one.